welcome to the program Global Morning on Global Television, Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubiaya saying thank you for joining me today. Today we are discussing on a critical issue that affects homes, communities and generations, breaking the cycle of violence and supporting empowering women with guests who is joining me from United States of America in person of Tina King. So good morning, Tina King from Nigeria. Yeah, so how is the weather out there?
I'm good. We are good, thank you. Yeah, I arrived a few days ago, and I've been trying to adjust with the time difference. Yeah.
All right,
but thank you. All is well. We thank God.
Yeah, we thank God for everything. On today's program, we'll be discussing the realities of women face, examine the role of institutions and governance in prevention and protection. All right, so let's start the conversation properly.
Okay.
What are the most common forms of violence women experience, and why do many cases remain unreported?
Thank you very much for that question. Women seems to be targeted in most areas of society or culture, and women suffer violence in trafficking. Women and girls. Women suffer violence in digital forms, online abuse and bullying. And for some reason, women have been this target. Even though young boys are also involved, are also targets. But I would call them a lesser desire than women and girls, which is unfortunate. Yeah. And if you ask me if they are receiving injustice, I would say no, not the way we in culture, we in a society, we in policy making. It is not the way that we would like to see justice given to their perpetrators. Again. And that is unfortunate. I'm not sure why that could be why that is the case. Why, if, for example, a woman is raped, we do not see a justice given to them or to their perpetrators. If a woman is or a young lady is trafficked, from one location to another, I do not see why their perpetrators do not face justice. I do not understand it, and that is something that we are still studying. In our society, in our various governments, we are still studying. Most of the time they receive a tap on the wrist, and they are released back into society to continue to commit the same violence against women and girls.
All right, so how do cultural norms and societal attitudes contribute to the continuation of violence against women?
Probably when one sees this perpetration of violence and evil against women, probably culture contributes by turning a blind eye. In those days when I was growing up, if anything is happening in my community, even if it is me, someone sees me standing with a young man or a boy, they go behind my back quickly, inform my parents, that we saw your daughter standing with a man, but as time went by, people have turned. When I say when I was growing up, this is like 40 or 50 years ago, So, but today it's different. You could see in our culture today, you could see a woman being abused in front of you. It's like by and what? Like it's a movie happening. You see someone, taking advantage of someone. You say something. You do something. You step in. That will be a good way for culture to open our eyes to see the evil around us and to want to be your brother or your sister's keeper.
All right. In what ways does economic dependency trap women in abusive situations?
Oh, well, being in the NGO space, that's a big deal. My organization, Kiajer Youth Empowerment Initiative, this is what we do, empowering women to secure their life and their livelihood, to give them some form of skills to become independent. Because when the jobs are not out there, and again, women in that regard, they are more more targeted again. We find less women given the privilege, or fewer women given the privilege to protect themselves through a responsible job or a responsible trade, and they are not given the equal in value in terms of soft loans, to start up a business, and which is necessary. And NGOs need to step up to that space to empower the women, because if a woman does not have, it even makes her more vulnerable to this kind of targeting, this kind of bullying and violence. That's how they traffic our women, because they will lure them into businesses abroad or businesses somewhere, in our neighborhoods, and abuse them. And that's how trafficking also occurred, due to lack of resources, lack of self-esteem. Turn some of these women into what they did not plan for. So training our women in skills and education, empowering more women, young women, and even older women, will enable some of this devastation, will prevent some of this devastation from occurring.
All right, talking about violence, how does violence against women affect their mental health, economic stability, and long-term well-being?
As a human being, I would not even say just women, but we are mostly focusing on women in this interview. But I will not just say women. When someone feels less valued, or receive less opportunity or no opportunity at all, it definitely affects the mental state. If myself and my male counterpart sits in front of an interviewer, seeking the same job, and I know I'm more qualified than that male opponent, male candidate, and yet the male candidate gets the job, probably because he has he has some influence within the company or corporation. It devastates anyone. You go home and you feel less of a person, and such situation can definitely, instances can definitely cause a mental fallback for anyone. Yes, particularly women. Yeah.
All right, so what impact does exposure, let me take that again. What impact does exposure to domestic violence have on children and future generations?
We must We must train our children. That is this what I'm quoting comes from my background in my religion as a Christian. We must train our children in the way they should go. That when they are old, they will not depart from their teaching that they receive. When you are abusing a mother in front of a child, emotionally you are devastating that child. And that child, whether a boy or girl, is likely to either, if it's a boy, is likely to repeat the same violence that he's experiencing with his mother, and that daughter is likely to fall into a relationship, except God helps her to think quickly and do the right thing. If not, otherwise, she's bound to repeat that kind of relationship that she sees in her home, in her father, maltreating the mother. So she might likely look for such a man because that is all she experienced in her parents' home, and mommy being abused. And it becomes, sometimes it can be painful emotionally for the children, and sometimes if they look at it as maybe it's the norm, maybe it's the norm since nobody is doing anything about it. Maybe it's normal. So let me just in the future I'll just get the same man, like my dad, or I would just marry. Or I would just, if it's a guy, I would just treat my wife the same way. It will make my wife submissive to me. So, this kind of attitude is devastating to the human mind, and it must stop. That's an abuse. That's violence. That's mental torture.
Yeah.
In any home where you see a man abusing his wife or his woman, it's a lack of strength for that man, and he too may be having his own issue from the way he was brought up, and then the wife become the victim or the punching bag, and it must stop in our society.
Let's talk about support system and services. What supports and services are most critical for survivors of violence? Shelters, legal aid, counseling, or economic support?
Yes, counseling.
All right.
If you know any woman who is going through such abuse and such devastation, you want to advise her quickly. Even though some women have been sensitized that it's okay. It's your husband. You can just take it, manage it. He will change. It's all right. He won't kill you. Some women may have been sensitized that this is normal. Just relax. No, it's not okay. It's not normal. It's not a godly thing. It's not a righteous act. It's not love. It's not love, which is mostly the lie that they tell women. It's not love, please. You want to seek help. Counseling, if you know any NGO that would accept you, go and lodge a complaint to the authority, and ensure that the authority does something about it. Lodge a complaint to your family. And those people around those kind of women who are being devastated in such a way should also create an awareness to this kind of abuse. Tell somebody about it. Say, this woman or this girl is not safe in that home. Let's do something. And so counseling is very important. First of all, you have to report, because if we don't know what's going on in there, we can't counsel you. Counseling is very important, which Kiajer Empowerment Initiative is involved in. All my life, I have been involved in counseling in women and youth. So counseling is number one. Number two, shelter. If that environment is not safe for the woman, let's get her a place. where she can be safe, where her mental health can be restored, where and she can become herself again and know that she's valued and know that she's loved. In the meantime, not only her, that husband needs to be counseled as well. We want to get to the root cause. Why do you use your wife as a punching bag? Why is she the type of woman that, or human being that you want to experiment on until you end her life? You want to counsel both man and woman, but in the meantime, the woman must first seek help. Those around her must say something.
All right, thank you very much for that. So our next question is, how accessible and effective are existing support systems for women experiencing violence?
How accessible are what?
How accessible, let me take that again. How accessible and effective are existing support systems for women experiencing violence?
I think if we want to talk about our system in Nigeria or Africa,
yeah,
if I want to talk about that system, I would think it's not effective. It's still lagging compared to the Western nations. Even though in the Western nations, if a woman reports, that I have been raped or I have been abused, she's still doubted. She's still sometimes, they even accuse her of being not the victim, but the initiator of what she's experiencing. But I would think that the Western nations have developed more in that they pay more attention to that aspect of a woman situation than what we in Africa do, and in Nigeria as well. Part of which is also part of Africa, by the way. So we need to have systems in place. It's not that we don't have laws. We have laws for this kind of situations. We have policies for this kind of situations. But are they being effected, to protect women and girls? I would say not like we want to see. In most cases, the men are protected, and the issues are thrown under the carpet, under the rug, and then the woman have to, suffer through the mental torture of why don't anyone believe me? Why am I the one that goes through a pain and I complain and no one is helping me? So the system, if we say system, the system it's not on par with it because we are not implementing those guidelines we have set in place. And that is why NGOs exist, to work side by side with government. When they see situations like this, they bring it before the government and they seek ways that situation like this can be avoided and that women will be protected. So that's why good NGOs must exist, to be our brothers and sisters keepers. If not, we will be losing women in our societies, and that's not what we are looking for. We want everyone to be whole, healthy, whether you're a boy, you're a girl, you're female, you're a man. We want everyone to be healthy. If the man is going through certain things, that's why he's frustrated and taking it on his wife. We want to see everyone as a healthy human being in society. So that's why drastic measures need to be put in place and effected, implemented. We need to apply laws to domestic violence, to human trafficking, etc., etc.
All right, talking about civil organizations, what role can communities and faith-based or civil society organizations play in supporting survivors?
I'm sorry, you said pledge
What
or
role?
plead?
What role can communities and
Oh, play.
faith-based,
Oh, play. What role?
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. What role? Thank you for clarifying. I think I've alluded to various roles, throughout my speech, roles that can be played by civil society and churches, mosque and NGOs, and other organizations. I have said, severally that we need to step in because we are the government, especially NGO. We are the government mouthpiece. We are the connection between and them, the government, and the people and society, so to speak. Yes. So NGOs need to step up and instead of looking out for self, because there are NGOs, yes, that just look out for themselves. Instead of looking out for themselves, let us take the work seriously. That includes Kiajer Youth. Let's take our work seriously by involving ourselves in negative behavior in our society. We also would like to see churches step up. If we see an abuse, if a parishioner comes to a minister, a pastor, a bishop, this is what I'm going through in my home, take it up. Don't try to pray for the person and send them home. No, prayer is good, but we must go beyond praying. We must take some action to protect life, and so the imams in the mosque. You must take responsibility for your people, so that we can have a healthy society and culture. If you are a neighbor to an abused woman, or you are witnessing an abuse, or you are witnessing a cyberbullying, or you are witnessing a trafficking situation occurring, you are part of the society, because that could be you someday. So say something, step up, and let's take this case further, into the system of law and order, so that such situations people can intervene properly. So whether you are a citizen or an organization, we are all in this together to make our community whole, to make our people whole, and to prosper a society that is growing. Africa is growing. Nigeria is growing. If we neglect every negative thing we see, then we are growing with the wrong mindset. We are growing with the wrong situations. We are growing with crimes, and that could be a way of ending an entire generation, and we don't want that. We want this generation to step up, and this generation to become even better than the former generations, So yes, that's how we work together to make a whole society.
All right, thank you very much. I understand we are talking about women. All right, but let's talk a bit about the boy, the male child. What role does education, especially for boys and young men, play in preventing gender-based violence?
And because, thank you for that, because a boy has a sister, has a mom, has an aunt, a boy, sometimes boys too are bullied, but because you are the man, you are, the leader of tomorrow. I think our boys should be well educated. They should be well informed, well sensitized about situations like this, to protect their sisters, to protect their future children, their future daughters, to protect even their own mother, who may have gone to the market and she was taken advantage of. That our boys should be sensitized, should be educated. And there's nothing wrong with bringing this into a curriculum. I know this past 16 days, which ended, I think, on Wednesday or Tuesday or so, and there was this 16 days
advocacy
awareness. Yes, excuse me. Yeah, 16 days gender-based awareness and digital bullying that. Just initiative that ended, and Kiajer was involved. We went to schools to educate our students, our boys and our girls. We visited schools and we educated them. Say something when you say something. We sensitize our youth. Especially our boys. You are your sister's keeper. You are your girl's keeper. So let's work together. If you're a boy, you believe you can do something about it, call authority. Call the authorities and or just tell your mother, tell your father, tell your closest teacher, do something. Our boys are needed in this kind of situation and culture that we live today. So yeah, education is key. Enlightenment is key. It's key. We cannot remove our boys from this equation. They are vital in protecting women. They are vital in protecting their peers, their female peers. It's key.
All right. How can a woman be empowered to speak out and seek help without fear of stigma or?
Okay, we are starting a club very soon. And this club we are starting with, since this initiative ended a few days ago, the 16 days gender-based empowerment initiative. Since it completed, Kiajer is trying to start a club that was suggested to us by a school in Kubwa. They said we should have a club that we come in and teach our girls how to protect themselves, how to be aware about their environment, and that is one way of educating our women, our young girls. Telling them that their bodies belong to them, and no one has the right to touch them inappropriately. No one has the right to insult them, and no one has the right to belittle them. No one has the right to make them feel uncomfortable. That's the teaching that we, not just a flyby or a one-time teaching. It should be a repetition, of this and this kind of teaching. It should be repetitious, in our schools. So having a club in a school or in every school, I think this would help, because after school or even during school hours, they can give us a few minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes for us to have games, discuss, having interactions, small group interactions, with our students, both boys and girls, So this is something that we are looking forward to in 2026, having various clubs in various schools to continue to educate our girls and our boys concerning this prevailing situation in our culture today. It's like everyone is afraid to allow their children to go online because of the things that they experience online, which can lead to suicide Why would I want, my young daughter who's supposed to be on the internet doing something productive, end up, experiencing something negative, which could result to her taking her own life. This is not acceptable. My oldest child today is 35. And my youngest is 30. I cannot. And I would say I did not. See my children experience what is going on today. I'm not saying it wasn't there back then when I was raising my kids, but it wasn't as prevalent as what we see today. So if this is the case, then what are we? Where are we going in the next 10 years? Is this madness and this wickedness going to, be more prevalent than what it is today? So that's why we must wake up. We must wake up, educate, sensitize, and our children, and even those who perpetrate evil, hold them to account. Social media should learn to shut down their pages where this abuse is coming from. Shut down their pages. Let's work together. It becomes a global thing. Let's work together, to shut down evil before evil overtake our life and livelihoods. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let's talk about a way forward. What successful interventions or programs have shown promise in reducing violence against women?
I would say civil society, they are doing much. They are doing at least a step in the right direction. We can, and as we are evolving, we can continue to do more research, creating more programs, and even laws, to protect and to prevent, but civil society, we are doing, they're working, and NGOs, some healthy NGOs have programs that put things in place enough to be able to, nurture abused women and protect girls, and giving them an awareness to know when someone is being kind to them and when somebody is being, is perpetrating evil towards them. So I would say things are out there, but we are not there yet. Because if we are doing something and we are actually implementing those programs that are already in existence, it will not be increasing. But what we are seeing, evil is increasing, and we need to do more. When you don't see results, it's hard for you to complement. It's difficult. It's challenging to complement. So we want to see it happen more frequent. That and reports coming in that this organization is doing this, or has just done this, I just achieved this. When we are seeing more positive reports and results, then we know we are going somewhere. But for me, it appears to be more stagnation. But I would say civil society, they are doing their best.
All right. So, what collective action can individuals, communities, and institutions take to end violence against women?
Like I have said, it's institutions, government institutions create laws, and the laws you have in place, let's revisit it and implement them. That's one. Even when you see a child hawking in the streets, there is a law to that effect to protect children. There's an act in Nigeria I may not have that act in front of me, but there is a law to that effect. Children are not supposed to be hawking in the street. That's where they are kidnapped to become violent people in society. So there are laws to that effect. A child's supposed to be in school, not hawking and being exposed to violent adults who will either traffic them or abuse them or turn them into violent people in society. So that's one aspect of it. And again, NGOs, I've said over and over, NGOs need to step up and seek help. Funding is a big deal for NGOs. If NGOs can receive the kind of partnership they are seeking, from institutions like the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, Women's Ministry, if we can get that kind of help, we will be able to do more. That's one thing. Another aspect of it. All the sensitization and education and empowerment that my organization have gone through. We have been self-sponsored. Because of the passion that I carry. When that vision was birthed, it was birthed with a passion. So to see my people whole, to see my women whole, and that's what I do, and that's how NGOs can get involved. Do what you can with the little resources you have, and seek out help. And government should be willing to assist, both state and federal government. Assist your NGOs. Because there are many things that our government does not see, but we see them. And when we want to do something as NGOs, partner with us to achieve it. That's how we work as a team. And society and culture, churches, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Don't pray over a situation, address the situation. And the imams don't pray over a situation. Address it. A brother, a sister, or a young man in the house, tell your daddy, say, no, don't use my mommy as a punching bag. If not, I will tell authority. Stop this. It's not good. And you see something in school, a boy, violating a girl's right. Hey, young man, don't do that. Don't do that to our classmates. If you don't stop that, I will tell on you. So you need to stop. You see it happen again, take him to the authorities. So it's a teamwork. No matter how old you are, whether you are 10 years old, you are 5 years old. These days 5 years old act like 10-year-old. So they are smart. They are very intelligent. They know when wrong is happening. They know when good is happening. So we should educate our children from young. We don't wait until they are old before we educate them or highlight or enlighten them.
All right, so let's wrap up.
Yes,
all
that's
right.
how we work together.
All right, so let's wrap up the show for today with a question from your organization. What has the organization done to support and empower women?
Oh, well, thank you for that. Kiajer Youth Empowerment Initiative is only 1 year old, 1.5 years now, as of now, and we have achieved in 1.5 years, achieved several activities to empower women and young girls and boys. One, we go into the vulnerable communities. We have, for example, in Cuba and in Kuje, Abuja. And in Niger State, we have attended to a school there in enlightenment and empowering our young boys and girls. In the Kuje, we educated women by teaching them how to make soap, teaching them how to make Vaseline, and helping them to make these household products that they can also be able to sell. We gave them kits for them to start up their own first production that they could sell and use for themselves and their family. These things like this help to lift up a woman, and make her feel some sense of self-worth. We have also carried out a project in Nasarawa State, that's also for women empowerment. train them how to make beads products like necklaces, earrings, bracelets, etc. So that, and we also gave them kits to make some beautiful products to sell and become independent. I remember when we actually carried out that project in Nasarawa State. But some of the women said, "Oh, the government have remembered us." Those were their words, and I remember that vividly. And we said, no, this is not coming from the government. This is Kiajer Youth Empowerment Initiative. We see the need in your community, and we are here to help you to improve lives. And things like that. We in education, we have paid tuition for students in junior secondary school in Kubwa. For 48 students who didn't have WAEC exam fee. They were both about to be put out of class because they couldn't pay their fees at the government school. So we paid almost $1 million we spent for that school. We paid their WAEC. We purchased the books for them. We taught them how to plant trees. Little children, we were teaching them how to plant fruits and vegetables.
All right. Because of time.
So many things we have. I can go on and on. We have carried out over 9 to 12 initiatives just for students, and women, empowering them, to be productive in our society.
All right. Thank you very, very much, and Tina King for being part of the program this morning. We wish to have you in the studio live whenever you're in Nigeria.
Absolutely. By the grace of God, I will be back after the Christmas celebration.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. Christmas.
All right. Thank you.
Merry
Christmas to you. All right. Take care.
All right. We've come to the end of this segment with our special guest and person of Tina King. Thank you once again, ma'am, for being part of the program. And that has been the size of package of our program for today's episode on Global Morning Weekend Edition. DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channels 276. You can follow us across our social media platforms now showing on your screen using our GlobalTV NG. My name is Sadia Yakubu Yahaya saying thank you for being part of the program.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into variety